Hey guys, this is Fluff or Brian. It's been a really long time since I've said anything on my main Twitter here. And I imagine a lot of you guys were wondering what happened to me, what happened to Fluff, why is he not competing, where did he go? He didn't really say anything. Um, I didn't feel the need to mention that I retired from the game or that I quit because, like how often do those players just quit and then come right back? A lot of times I feel like, my reputation in the space kind of diminished over time, and I wasn't really showing the results that I think people kind of expected from me. And then that kind of, they didn't really leave a good taste in my mouth in the sense that I didn't feel like if I mentioned anything about what I was doing or if I was retiring, that anyone would really care. But, I've come to kind of find that over time in what I'm doing now, which I'll get into later, that a lot of people do remember and they remember the good times, and I certainly do. And when I reflect on it, I think that I kind of was almost ashamed of being a failure in my own heart, but not necessarily with the endeavor that you know pursuing professional gaming as a career um, kind of felt like to me as something that it was an achievement when I look back, and it's something that I didn't regret at all. And in fact, it kind of helped me build myself into the position that I'm in today. So this is just really for the people who kind of want to update and who care and just kind of miss, uh, you know, the whole vibe. Um, yeah. So pretty much, I retired from Dota maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I kind of played on and off, but eventually I decided that I needed to quit the game. And the reason why I needed to quit was because my motivation wasn't there. And I also didn't feel like I had the ability to compete at the highest level. And I think a lot of you guys recognize that in a game like Dota in particular, it's very, very difficult to make a reasonable living, even when you're sponsored. Especially, back a couple years when I was playing, you really did need to be the best of the best in order to really reap the rewards of playing competitively. And for a lot of people, it caused different strains on me in my personal life, with other players kind of feeling like they had to prioritize life over the game, which kind of made it difficult to practice and whatnot. And generally, I just kind of was playing because I felt like it was the only thing I could do. Like I was a college dropout, and the only thing I knew was gaming. And so, like, even though after competing with Complexity, Team Liquid, probably like the prime of my career, I felt that afterwards I wasn't really um, as motivated to be playing 24/7, practicing as hard as I should. I definitely had a lot of different challenges from that point forward, especially after the whole fiasco with Liquid, where I kind of just lost my cool. And that was a bit of a long time coming. The basic idea of it is that Dota was a game that I really loved and enjoyed. And the things I loved about it started, not kind of diminishing for me. And um, just the reality of all the team switching and being more immature as I was at the time, I couldn't really develop with the scene. And part of what I wanted to impart too, just for the sort of the Dota players out there, is just to mention that networking is a really big deal, and if you want to succeed in almost anything, really, you need to make those connections because in a game like that, those connections, even if they don't pay off in the short term, maybe a couple years down the line or even just in the next season, you might have the opportunity of your life. And I feel that kind of isolating myself as a player and kind of foolishly believing that the team that I created at the beginning was going to be the team that I retired with, investing all of that into them and just kind of like not paying attention necessarily to other people and just being very self self-absorbed in a way, that kind of made it difficult to transition out of it. And I would say just don't undervalue that aspect of the game because I feel like a lot of players had different opportunities to play on very good teams with very good elite level players, even TI players joining with some, giving a chance to newer players as long as they stuck with it. And so at the time, I was just too immature to make that decision. But I definitely learned from that, and in the new endeavors that I'm doing, it's definitely paid off big time. Just learning from that aspect of it. So enough about that. Just wanted to like fill you guys in what's going on. So I transitioned into being a trader, a professional trader, trading stocks, about 3 or 4 years ago. And I know like the prestige of it is kind of diminished in the sense that like, well, everyone's a trader now. Yeah, everybody bought some crypto, everyone bought this or that. But I really went into it trying to be a professional trader, not like a one hit wonder. Like I didn't invest all my money in one stock and become rich. It was more of like a consistent approach where you risk a very small amount of your money, you build it up every day, you follow, you have an edge, you develop a system, you test your process, et cetera, like that. I mean, it's much more of a professional outlook. I run it as a business. I have my own business in California, and I'm doing really well at it. And a lot of players who play Dota or League kind of recognize me because I've completely shifted to a different Twitter, and the Twitter handle is @BrianLeeTradesall. But you guys can find me there if you're interested in continuing like kind of my journey moving forward. But basically, I kind of developed my own kind of organic following there, doing the same thing that I did in Dota, kind of blogging my experience. So I actually do blog and relate my experience in Dota into how it's informed me to be a successful trader. And yeah, I'm a full time trader. I completely live off of the trading income. I'm very comfortable and probably in the best position I've ever been in life. I'm very fortunate, very happy, and very grateful. Um, things have really, really changed, and I think that people who know a little bit about my background in Dota would really, really appreciate where things have, how far things have come and how things have changed. Even if you don't trade or you're not interested in trading, um, the blogs that I have in my pin post, I think they'll be really interesting from a Dota fans or followers perspective, or even just one of my friends, because I definitely do miss like a lot of my friends. Like I've been able to hang out with just a handful of people, especially with COVID. I saw like Lumi and Aosin, um, and really not much else in terms of like keeping up with my Dota friends, because I had to kind of just really step away from the scene to focus on myself and make sure that I wasn't being pulled in a negative direction. Because as much as I love Dota and I loved competing at it, I knew that if I wanted to be successful in life and I wanted to kind of transition out of this, especially having no skills or experience in any other aspect of life, it would be very hard to restart when I'm kind of sidetracked by Dota. Watching competitions, paying attention to people, like looking for opportunities or whatever, having people ask me, and I've had, while I was trading, like people have asked me and I've had opportunities to do coaching and casting and things like that, maybe even streaming, taking managerial positions. But I recognize that for me, that's not really where I wanted to go with my life. I wanted more lateral movement in my career. I felt like it would be hard not to stagnate in those positions. So I didn't really give it my all, but I did certainly try. Ultimately, coming into trading, it's just a liberating experience, because as a Dota player, it's honestly very difficult, and I wish I could write a book about really honestly all the experiences I've had that just would kind of blow your mind in terms of how difficult things really are, being a pro gamer. And as much as I can kind of look back and say, oh, this didn't work out, this didn't work out, that person had a sour attitude or whatever, I think ultimately the thing that I kind of gained from the whole experience is that like the number one thing that I think is very important just for anybody in life is that trusting yourself, trusting that wisdom, and being willing to follow through with your ideas is something that I really believe in and I lost connection with a long time ago. So you guys probably noticed that like I stopped drafting, I stopped being as active in those roles, and I did lose a lot of confidence in myself, and that really just snowballed, and like the whole trust factor just completely diminished, and as well as just it's so hard to build relationships like that. So, but the main point that I wanted to get to is that I take responsibility for failing in my heart. Maybe not to some. Like we had great moments. Like I'll never forget TI3 Liquid. I'll never forget where we came from in the whole story of Team Fire, and all the people that I played with, all the people I've met, and all the great experiences I've had. But like it really was just time to move on for me. But I wanted to kind of make a video now because I'm a lot more comfortable in my own skin and a lot more comfortable with where I'm in life. And I did want to share that with the people who actually, cared. And I kept it hidden for a long time because I just I couldn't really accept, or I didn't really want people to know. And I just felt like now is the right time for me to just like I'm in the position in life where I feel like I'm ready to just let people know. And if you want to go ahead and follow me on my journey, like I am, I don't want to be self-aggrandizing, but like I've reached a pretty good level of success in what I'm doing in a way that's not luck, that is based on, being actually a true professional at this. It took me years of study, hardship. I've blown up my accounts. I've learned the hard lessons myself. I've paid my dues, my market tuition, almost the same way that like I prepared as a professional gamer. Like you put all your time into it, 16, 18 hours a day. You're studying, you're focusing, you're reviewing, you're analyzing. There's a lot of things that were difficult for that transition, but it is a great thing for people who are competitive, want more for themselves, want the financial confidence. And um, I've kind of in my community, I've kind of taken that place as somebody who shares and gives what he knows, trying to pass it down, pay it forward. And you'll see that in like evidenced by like I have blogs, I have videos, I have plenty of interviews where um, I just never thought that I'd be in a position to even be on those kind of shows. Like the traders in the interviews that I've gone on are like people who run hedge funds and like people who are wildly successful, way more successful than myself. But I just been in a lucky position to be kind of recognized a little bit in that community for kind of the same things that I was doing at the beginning of my career in Dota. And I think you guys would definitely appreciate that. So I just wanted to share. Um, Overall, uh, one thing that I think I want to share, which is it's kind of I'm hesitant to share, but basically it is that in Dota, I do take like full responsibility for the shortcomings of my career and how far I've gone in the game. And I've had higher expectations for myself, higher standards for myself. I worked my ass off every day, even though it was hard to tell that as a viewer, and I know I let a lot of you down. But to me, transitioning to trading where you're just you're your own person, you're your own team, your own organization. Like it, it was kind of vindicating to succeed at something where the effort that I put in personally translated into the success that I was able to achieve. And I didn't necessarily feel like that was the case in Dota because of so many extraneous factors. Like one person feeling out of it can really kind of sink the ship. I played a lot with a lot of great players as well, and just in general, like I did feel like a legitimate like failure, and I just couldn't really keep it up. But at this point, like I've rebuilt that like trust in myself that, um, like the reason why I was able to even compete at that level in the first place was because of having the work ethic, the drive, the passion for it, being able to sit with the losers, the defeats, the worst moments ever, and get back up. And that's something that I've really taken to heart these days. So for just for the people who are curious and for the people who are interested, like what happened to Fluff. Yeah, I officially retired and I've moved on. But if you're still interested, uh, definitely reach out to me. I definitely miss and appreciate a lot of you people who helped me grow and develop to where I am today. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of update here. And if you ever find your way to my profile, just click on the pin post and it has all the links of like everything that I've done up to this point. I think that especially if you are interested in trading. It doesn't matter what asset you're trading. You know, whatever it is, it's cryptos, futures, stocks. Um, the things that I talk about are generally apply to all those things, and I have a you know I've lived the journey and I've experienced a lot of it, a lot of the drawbacks of it and the pain. And so like my goal is to help people who want to do the same thing to actually not have to experience that pain, because I had no one to pick me up when I was down. So in the same way as like my blogs and Dota, like I wanted to help people figure out like how do I become a pro gamer and inspire people in that way with my blogs. Kind of doing the same thing here, but I learned from my lessons, and yeah, I'm just way better spot. So, all right, thank you guys for listening. Um, I just felt like it was the right time to share it. So, all right, go follow me on Brownlee Trades if you're curious. Thanks.